is related with this current in photography. We have Massimo and Igor. They are dealing with socially excluded groups. In this group, I also somehow pictured Miriam because you are dealing with migrants. And then we have Paolo, who's dealing with photography in, how do you say, basically in a situation of war or social crisis. So I think it's interesting to see how do you cope from the perspective of photography with this different situation in which you represent either the suppressed or you suppress yourself through the photography in some way. So, we are still waiting for the speakers. Maybe we can start with Nina. Nina, if this is okay with you. So the concept is that we have short presentations in duration of, I don't know, like 7 minutes or so. Then we have a short Q&A. We continue with another presentation. In the end, if there will be time left, we can have a wider discussion. So Nina. You'll be speaking about 3 different series of your autoportraits. Is it working?
Should work.
Okay, we'll start with Nina and then we can continue. So Nina, should I just press play? We can use mics also, I totally forget. Are mics working?
Yes, yes.
Mics working.
Hello. I did 3 series of self-portraits and I brought 3 pictures from each of the series. The first one, it's called Roles, the roles that we play in life. So this picture represents my role as a student, this one of a daughter with my mother, and the other one, yes.
Okay.
And the other one, is my role as a friend. The next series, I haven't exhibited it yet. It goes on about the works that I had to do for money in my lifetime experience, which was quite a variety of jobs. In the terms of how the job does not identify you, determine you. So I was selling flowers, I was mowing grass, and some other things for money. And the last series that I did was questioning my position as a woman in a way, because I've objectified my body in the sense that I've realized that it's not a common thing in the world with women. So I didn't use a Ferrari, I used some old car. I tried to put myself in positions that are well known and like sexy or something. So I did delve with my own body as well, because I exposed myself through that series, and so.
No, you can maybe say. Excuse me. It's interesting because basically you have 3 different levels of self-representation. First one was connected with your education.
With the roles they play. Yeah, it was connected with my education because I was finishing college, so I was trying to think of my position in the world. Actually, it was one big part of life that ended with the end of the college. So I was questioning about who am I and what roles do I play and what roles do we all play in society.
So individual basically level and of identity, social level of identity that is constructed to your roles, working roles, and then in the end gender and sexuality issues. And somehow you were in this last series you were playing with different that is with questioning of the dominant modes of representation of female body. And also with this notion of male gaze. But somehow I see this uncanny part, because you are looking straight in the camera with totally uncanny look, not being subjected, but you are somehow subjecting me as a viewer, me as a male viewer of your photos. At least that's the feeling that I have. And maybe you can tell a bit more about the work of your recent mentor, because you went together with Philip to the workshop of Minkinen, and every time you started to talk about him, you just smile. So I think he's quite an important figure in your artistic work.
Yeah, he's not my mentor, but he's the only photographer that I admire. I really like him. I see something very clean in him. And he's the example, in my point of view. He does self-portraits for 45 years, so it's challenging to do one thing for 45 years, but besides that, he's the only one that I've come to knowledge about that does self-portrait without ego, because ego is quite well connected with self-portrait, right? And he has none in my view. So that's why I like him, and he's very simple and bold. Actually, the simplicity of his pictures I like, yeah. I just did a workshop with him, and he's very humble. It's quite rare for somebody so successful to be so normal and humble at the same time.
So maybe we can check if this video is working, because it's good continuation of this discussion we started, and then we can see if Minkinen is still online. So do you hear anything?
No.
Not really. So the speakers are not working. Okay. Let me. No, it's not. They're not connected. They're connected to the projector. But yeah, okay. So maybe we can show some picture of his work, and maybe we can talk about it a bit more. Just a second.
This is the first picture that he did of himself. With this picture, everything started.
It's interesting because in this short documentary that I was almost about to show, he's explaining the way that this picture just happened. He was quite a young photographer. It was like an early stage in his career, and he was a participant at the workshop. And all of a sudden, he felt like he's in the middle of like a really ontological, almost artistic crisis. He didn't know what to do. So he just took some time off, and then all of a sudden, he felt the need to take his clothes off. He found a mirror, and he did basically this photo, which was a start of a current of exploration that he continued for almost 40 years. In a very, what do you say, methodological level, he continued to work with self-representation of his body. And his body is usually naked, fragmented, and it's somehow incorporated into the surrounding area. Maybe you can say, or can you compare the notion of nakedness in your and in his work as you see it?
Well, it's a totally different level, I would say. He's using his body naked because the nature is naked, and he's using himself as well because he doesn't want to take the risk with somebody else, because some of his pictures are a bit risky. They're like plain, and he didn't use double exposure or some tricks. So the way you see it, the way it's taken. I'm using my body in a totally different way. I'm trying to objectify my body as it is with women. I've made from myself an object, and he's using himself combined with the nature.
You're trying to provoke different social connotations and cultural connotations of this male gaze, and he's somehow trying to basically run away from even a possibility of inscribing some social meaning in his body.
Yeah, it's just him and the nature. Actually, he thinks that we're one, so he's trying to blend himself in it. And he can do a lot of stuff with his body, as you can see. He's very tall, and we think that he practices yoga or something.
So, Philip, if Philip is around, maybe no? Because Philip is on a phone with Minkiran, and I think we'll have to cancel it. What? We'll have to cancel it, so we'll just go further on. So yeah, I think it had sense to start basically this talk or discussion about different modes of representation with the most radical gesture, and this is putting focus on your own body, exposing your own body. And because it's always a question when we are representing somebody, anybody, like a group of people or individual or ourselves, who is exposed and how are we exposing other and how are we exposed through this exposition of the other. So when it comes to the representation of socially excluded groups of people, maybe we can start with Massimo and Igor, and with their project. You probably all heard already a lot of their project, and you have seen some. You have seen their work exhibited in the basement, but what they have prepared for this occasion is a different selection of their photos.
Yes, our project deals about social exclusion and the social excluded community, but this is not the main subject of our pictures. I mean, if you see the pictures exhibited underground, you will see that we don't want to show just the bad aspects or the main characteristics of this community, probably the features that make them excluded, but we are more or less talking about an encounter we had, so we were involved in this story. We are convinced that the picture wouldn't have existed if we weren't not there with them during a long period. So our anthropological research and representation of this community goes through the story we shared with them more than just showing a community from an objective point of view. This is the reason why we chose some of the pictures we took each other or were taken by our subjects to show the interaction we had, which was not just a relation of a photographer with his subjects. We just shared joy and sufferings, daily life, and at the end we were really working for the community. I mean, we ended up selling some of the pictures we took of them to them because they were asking all the time. At the beginning we decided it was our duty to give the pictures for free because they were the subject and they were leaving us the possibility to take pictures of them, but after a while, when the number of pictures we have to print was really overwhelming and too many, we decided to sell them for the same price we paid them. And this step was quite important to us because in that moment we were recognized as workers in the community and not just visitors. Shall we explain a little bit? Many of you probably haven't seen the pictures until now, so we have just to introduce some of the characters inside the story. From the beginning? Oh yeah. Or just leave them.
Okay.
From the beginning, so they were in chronological order. Okay, this is the first period we were there, and it was summer of 2013, and we are underground in a tunnel in front of the Bucharest train station, and you can see Igor on the left of the picture, And Bruce Lee, not the martial artist, but another martial artist from Romania, who is cooking. This is the first step. After a couple of days, we cooked inside the tunnel with them. We prepared pasta, but it was quite unsuccessful because they were not really able to eat spaghetti just with a fork. So the cooking competition was lost in that case by us. Bruce Lee won. He was quite a good cooker anyway. He learned in the prison. And we were so interested by the way they looked like and their fashion style that we decided to shape ourselves and cut our hair by their official hairdresser. So you can see, well, that is myself, and I'm going to have my hair cut inside an abandoned building while that is the Frisero, hairdresser, and one of the children coming and going to that community is watching with a curious look on his face.
Surprised, I'm really surprised.
Quite surprised. Okay, you can go on. This is again inside the tunnel after 6 months from the beginning, and we are eating some kind of omelette and cheese with our subject. Probably this was not really something wise we did because of the risk to contract some diseases, but we consider it was very important to share a meal in order to position ourselves in the same level. And yes, sharing. Okay, well, no need to explain. You can see both of us with our subject. This is Catalina. We were quite affectionate with her. She tried to give up using drugs for a period, and we tried to help her also because she got her leg burned after she fainted inside the tunnel. I didn't say that these tunnels are made to contain the pipes that transport hot water to the buildings built under Ceausescu era. So the temperature is quite high and the pipes are really boiling. So after she fainted, she stayed with her naked leg on the pipe for around 10 minutes, and the burning was quite bad. Anyway, afterwards she left, and then she began again to use drugs, and she died last year. In this case, Igor is trying to help Bruce Lee and the community with some bureaucracy, because most of them don't have any form of education or instruction, mostly in the bureaucracy world. So they were trying to send some food and orange fruit juice to one of the girls who was closed inside an orphanage institution, and they hadn't the right or the permission to visit her, so we went to the place instead of them. This is again Catalina. We are joking because she wanted the same hat I wanted. This is inside the tunnel.
You know, you were playing.
Joking. He won. And this is some kind of selfie, self-representation they made in some occasions using our cameras. We left our cameras many times to them in order to let them auto-represent themselves, and also we were curious about the things they were more interested in. In anthropology, this is called more or less photo-elicitation. It's the use of the image just for research purposes and not for representation ones. This picture was taken in an abandoned house, abandoned and occupied by a gypsy family, and you can see both of us dressed always with the same clothes. Trying local products, just for curiosity reasons, in order to understand. And then we have to build a shelter. Okay, joking. side with Galerija the North people. Okay, you can see one of the pictures we brought. It's glued to the painting on the back. That one is Vista and this is Lejanka. It's a travesty, which was quite nice. And after 4 months, we left in March last year. I visited, no, less than 4 months, 3 months. I visited again the community in Bucharest because Catalina died and I was informed by the phone. I wanted to attend the funeral and I was quite moved seeing that they kept a picture that portrayed both of us inside the tunnel, and you can see.
Awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, we were showing the pictures all the time. They were quite happy with it. I think maybe they felt important in some way. At the beginning they thought and they were convinced we were just a couple of journalists and we wanted to make some kind of articles about underground life in Bucharest, but after some weeks and some months they were really confused about our role in that community, and so were we, because after they asked why are you here, what do you do with us, we couldn't find a real answer, because there was not a real project behind this. This was just a process of discovering and delving deeper in the knowledge of these people. So, yeah.
I learned a lot, I think also Massimo. And this helped to create a really good link with them, with these people that really like metaphor lives in underground in different world, in a different world where we live. And so we spent a lot of our life to give him dignity and then give us a very important level of life. And so this I want to explain to you. And that's all. And yes, this is the magic and power of photography. Can be reached and talk with people in a different way. So this is my way to talk, this is my way to be in contact and touch with them. And that's all.
7 minutes?
It is everything is approximately these days. I just wanted to comment on few things. First, you said that basically this participation, you were participating throughout the work. First of all, it was work, and that was like your ticket for the entering. At least that's how you presented.
Not exactly. I was a little bit exaggerating,
okay.
But they knew we had some kind of function. We were not just working, 8 hours per day.
Yeah, okay. You were spending their everyday life together with them in different activities.
Yes,
okay.
also not photography. Yes, talking,
some
listening stories
but in the end you said that they got confused because they posed questions that you had no answer to?
After 3 months more.
After 3 months?
Yeah. Because.
But how did it, who brought up this question? How was it? This experience sounds like probably quite intense.
Mihaela is, yes, she's a girl, very innocent. She asked us, why do you stay with us? You love us this way. And we were very surprised. You don't have a house? Why you stay here? You have another life, another reality. And we were very surprised. So we have no answer with it. But yeah, we created a relationship. And this special relationship, I think we find us inside in this city flowing.
But somehow you were rejected in the end, huh?
No.
Is it a rejection or is it just showing where the boundary really is, this class boundary, or
But there was no rejection. In this moment the project stopped because Rushdie was arrested 1 month and a half ago, and the community as a community completely disappeared because many just went away from the area of the Galerija North. Others Well, many people died also. More or less 15, 20 people we had the chance to know in the last 2 years have died. Many others are in prison, also for very stupid reasons, just because they have no the possibility to have a good lawyer or something like this. If you steal a bike in Romania and you cannot defend yourself, probably you will be put in prison for a couple of years. And 2 or 3 years. And the relationship changed in time. At the beginning we were accepted like nice foreigners, maybe innocent foreigners. Then we were helping them in some way, so they consider us like strange people visiting them. Maybe after a while they consider us like a friend. And at the end we really felt that we were welcome there as a family. And this is the same feeling we had also toward them. Because we were not spending time in different places just visiting this. This is the entire reality we know the most about Bucharest, so we had some kind of house for real. And I forgot I was saying something else before, but
She started to question your
yes.
your presence.
Mostly in the period of the winter, we were spending more or less 10-12 hours per day inside the tunnel with the hand trees, but we didn't really care about that because we felt quite strong and confused. But mostly we established this kind of relationship just hanging out with them. I strongly believe that if you want to have a free relationship with somebody, I mean, with no interest or no business stuff or something like this, so the subject or yourself will not feel there is somebody who is looking for advantage in some way. You are just to hang out with people. Probably this is the main way we make friends in our life, just hanging out with people. In Italian we say cazzeggiare, probably somebody will understand. So, no aim, no really, we didn't look for any picture in particular, just staying, talking a little and sharing them.
Sharing every day.
What I want to say about, because I requested from Bruce Lee, so I want to thank you very much to Organ Vida to have the possibility to show our works, like as Bruce Lee requested, because 3 months in the second, when we returned in Bucharest in the winter of 2014, he asked me, please show our life over the world. And so I'm very happy and emotional to have this possibility. Thank you to Organ Vida and all the stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll return later on. We'll also open the questions from the audience. But maybe now we can continue with Miriam, if that's okay. So I can prepare your presentation. Okay, of course. Let's do that. Maybe you can just grab this mic. You can take the mic if you want.
Yeah, I think I can speak. Of Libya and Italy that enforced that through some accords enforced the border and make it impossible for migrants to pass through from Libya to Italy. So in the same way, Spain made some big accord with Morocco, asking to Morocco to be the police of their frontier. Just to make an example, in 2006, the European Union paid 67 million euro to Morocco to help them to block the migrants in their border. So what is happening is that actually there are less migrants that are arriving in Spain by Morocco, but the other side of history is that there are more and more migrants blocked in Morocco awaiting their chains to cross the Mediterranean. Actually, I decided to work in this topic because I'm president of Spain and I feel that we are highly responsible about what is happening there. So I start to investigate and I see that commonly the migrants were represented as a group of persons moving from one side to the other side, but especially in this area there was less attention about who were these persons. So I tried to figure out how I can work and how I can try to give an individuality to the people that I was portraying, and it's why I decided to work with the portrait. There are too many reasons for why I choose to work in this way. One is that I definitely want to work in a very static way, as what I want to represent is this kind of feeling of frozen, of paralysis that migrants are living there, as they are not really able to go back because they or their family have invested a lot and have a lot of hope about what they can have crossing in Europe, and at the same time they have any knowledge about when they will make it to cross to Europe. So in this kind of limbo where they are living, they are living in a very uncertain way. So I want to represent a little bit this feeling, and for me the portrait was a way, and the static portrait was a way to accentuate this feeling. On the other way, I was speaking about the topic of this panel. I think that the portrait is a great kind of collaboration with the subject. I mean, when you are portraying someone, and you really need this kind of collaboration between the photographer and the photographic person. And I think that in this moment, migrants are many times represented in very strong situation, in very difficult situation, in very poor situation. And what we are not thinking about is that in this era of technology, migrants are very afraid about the representation of their self. I mean, they know that it's very easy that their picture can be saved by their family, and the last thing that they want is to give this kind of representation to the other peoples. So I think that one of the reasons that they give me so many access is because they just can choose how to be portrayed. Well, we can see the picture now. This is not the first one.
How come?
Oh no, it's not. It's.
Okay, let me just check. Okay, you.
So in the meantime, the title of the work changed from Limbo, that was a temporary title, to Differentiated Blue. Then I will maybe explain why.
Do you want to just put it to row one another, or should?
I
do you
do.
want? Okay, then I'll put it like this. So here we can see text combined together with pictures. And on the exhibition, we can see only photos.
Only photos, yeah. I mean, because it was a discussion, and maybe it was interesting to read some text, but normally I prefer that the people have some kind of feeling or information.
And because maybe it's a bit too small, and we have time to read
it's not
everything.
important.
No. But can you explain a bit from which level did you approach the text, and how did you combine text with photos?
Yes.
What kind of information you wanted to, how do you say, add to the visual material?
So I basically asked some very simple questions, trying to. So the first question was why they were there, and what they were trying to escape from. The other question was related to how was their life there, and the third question was what they were expecting for the future. So very simple narrative.
And when you said that you left the the option of how there will be portrait open, you left them open for them to choose. Can you talk a bit more about that?
I think when you are portraying someone, they are totally conscious about what they are doing. So of course you can ask them to turn the face or to have a different world, but I will never ask them to make some kind of expression. Maybe I will just took the time to see which kind of expression they will do after the first 3 minutes when they are maybe doing some forced expression. So I'm just not asking them how to pose.
You combine portraits with traces of the everyday life in the shelter. And how long was the period you spent with them?
I think that I made 3 during 1 year, 1 month every time. But I decided to focus on a very small group so I can spend more time with everyone. And what I did is try to find, every time that I make a new trip, I try to find the same person, just because for me it was interesting to see how they changed during this time. Because of course, when you meet someone that just arrived in Morocco, they have a lot of enthusiasm because they think that they will cross the day after or maybe the month after. And then after 6 months, obviously, they wait to see how easy or how difficult it can be to make the trip. It's totally different. And after 1 year, they have a big charge. They start to think that maybe they will never get the chance to do that. So the humor is quite changing, and it was very interesting for me to see this kind of evolution.
And please tell me about the language barrier.
There was not really a language barrier because I work mostly with, Africans speak French and English quite fluently, so I was focusing in community with whom I can speak it perfectly without any kind of translation. And honestly, I work with people of my age, so the barrier, Africa is another continent. I've never been, I only have been in Maghreb, so I really don't know any of the country from where they are from, but there are people of my age, they are 30 years old or younger man, young women and men with same aspiration and same hope, and many times with, many have studied, so we have a really great feeling. I feel really near to the person that I photographed. I introduced the sea, and it's why the title changed it in my last trip, like an element that marked the passage of the time, as all the life of these young people is structured around making the attempt. All the time they are speaking about this. They are trying to find the money to make the trip. They are trying to find the connection man that will help them. They are trying to see in which place they can have the better life jacket, where they can find the right boat to make the trip. So every day, constantly, they are thinking about it, thinking about the sea. And the sea represented a little bit, represent a lot of things for them, because it's, on one way, it's their hope, because on the other side of the sea there is all what they are expecting for, and on the other side, as every day they are listening about so many people that are dying in the sea. The sea represents also all they felt. So I use different kind of, I make the same picture of the sea, thinking that depending on the humor of the migrant, the sea have a different color.
Thank you, Miriam.
We'll try to explain before, because it's a little bit different, completely different
from my series here exposed, because I started to work in Ukraine 5 years ago, and when I started, I work in a lot of situation, drugs and young people, and when the revolution and the war started, I try to follow this kind of situation. But after something changed inside me, because I realized maybe in some time the work of photographer is not in the situation, because maybe every day we are bombing about war and dead images, and after that I try to explain this with my archive photos and try to make photos with several levels to put together with collage maybe or other photos for try to stop the people to think about that, because when I saw the picture from Ukraine, I remember only dead body, fire, Molotov, that's it. And when the Maidan, especially Maidan, stopped, nobody want to know who are Ukrainian people, what's happened, why Ukrainian people start to this revolution. And I started work in another way. This is the second chapter of my work.
What we are about to see.
Okay.
You want me to put it now? But when you're referring to a second chapter, the first phase was what we can see at the exhibition?
Yeah, the exhibition is the first chapter.
The first chapter, okay. And so this one is a chapter, I mean, your work with somehow like with a new approach to the everyday life and the way you represent, so you're trying not to represent the situation of crisis and violence and suffering anymore, but something like
different,
from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Is it okay if we talk?
Yeah, this is a postcard, because I started 4 months ago. I started to ask to all the people I met in Ukraine to write to me what's changed in their life, the Maidan after Maidan, after the revolution. And this is one of the postcard.
The postcard only, and you were concerned only with the image. You asked them to
ask to them to choose one of these and write what's changed in their life.
Do you also deal in some way with the content of that text, with the messages?
I thought about for a book, because I want to make a book, and I want to put all not all, but some postcard inside. Because it's the directly testimonials from their life.
And also at the exhibition you have some images that are repeating. I mean, you have some
because
multiple physical
control
So you are exploring that level continuously. But what I want to say, and this is
two picture from create the new level, and This is one of picture I took in Crimea when Russian invades Crimea.
And this one?
This one is an image from the socialist book about the dress, and I really like because it's fun, you know, the perfect number of this because for me it's an emblematic image about the military people.
Precision.
Yeah. This is Maidan, when the people start to fight in barricades.
This is your intervention?
Yeah. This is the image from Google Earth, Otonias, and look like a camouflage.
Like a glitch. Thank you for showing us your new chapter. But what I want to say is that when you basically in your introduction you said that you are basically fed up with these images of violence and war. I don't think that your first chapter was like that. I think that your first chapter was already softened in a way with your aesthetics and poetics.
In fact, it's not. Not want to delete this. It's the second chapter.
Yeah. Because
it's the continuous. No.
You're continuing basically what you.
There is only one photos about the dead man, but I don't show the dead man on fire. Or I try to follow another way for describe this situation.
It was interesting to hear tactics that you all use, how do you say, to approach this situation of, how do you say, extreme representation. For example, Miriam, like you said, it's important for you to get the consent of your subjects in some way, to let them be able to choose, at least in this narrow frame in which they can choose how to be represented. And for you, it was about spending not only this anthropological observation with participation, It's more like, okay, let's hang out together and see what happens.
Observing participation.
and then again, you and your formal experiments with...
I stayed and went inside in the life of Ukrainian people. Stay a lot and try to represent their opinion about the situation, about alienation, about the control, it's not only my imagination, no? But I try, and when I received all postcard, I try inspiration from the postcard to make this collage or make remake another language, no? But for not from my mind, but from the postcard or for what the people told to me.
And again, to make it circled in a way, I would return to Nina, because in the beginning it was a bit chaotic, so unfairly you had enough time to present everything. I just wanted to ask you something when it comes to this decision to objectify yourself and to expose yourself in this radical manner you choose to do in your third series. Can you speak a bit about the feeling you had when you first exhibited these pictures or published them or put them online or something? How was it, how did your relation to the audience changed in that way? Because you were addressing this to somebody. To whom do you address these pictures and how do you...
Well, some of the things was subconsciously. I didn't even know what I was doing until it was almost over. After the pictures at the beginning, I realized it's something because I have had a long distance relationship and I was asked to send a naked photo. And then I was thinking, oh, who I'm going to ask to take a picture of me, and I couldn't find anybody. And then I realized, oh, I'm a photographer, I should do it myself. And then I started with different modes, and it changed during the process. And I realized that I'm not doing it to send, I'm doing it for myself. And the first reactions were not when I published it, it was when I showed it to my friends, when I realized that I am making something, and then I saw the way that it goes. So first reactions were, oh, you're looking crazy and brave and blind. At the end, the reactions were dual, I would say. Some people said, oh, she's just, I don't know, exposing herself in order to get attention or something. And some reactions were like, you're bold, yes, we're also sick about the projection of women in society. So some things happened subconsciously in this series. I wasn't aware of everything that's happening.
So somehow it wasn't a preconception, it wasn't a really strong conceptual decision, it's something that happened organically throughout the process.
Yeah, it started to have a concept at the middle of it, I would say. Yeah. Well, neither of these series had the very firm concept when it started. Okay, maybe the first two are different. It's a bit more intimate because the perception of our body, it's a tattoo story. Everybody is ashamed of our bodies. I was as well for a long period of time, so I didn't want to be trapped. I mean, we as a society look at the body as something that we have to be ashamed of, or to keep it for ourselves, or to hide with clothes. And that's something we should not be naked, but I just think that this nakedness is combined with the honesty that we present in our everyday life with other people, you know, in communication, in being who you are or not. If I answered.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. So, thank you to everybody. I would like to ask if we have some questions from the audience. I gave some of this form. We have like live. Yeah. Okay, then I would just like to applaud to everybody and thank you for participating.